You're on a call. How do you get the client there? How do you get them to the point where they are like, yeah, I'd like to have one of your comfort advisors come out and talk to me?
You just talk to them like a human being. I spend 15 minutes diagnosing a system. I spend an hour diagnosing the customer and give 30 minutes worth of solutions.
And so when I say those words, be more interested than interesting, Michael, how does that relate to what you do every day?
One good way to make yourself be that way, not necessarily to change the customer, but to change yourself, is I'll find a fireplace hearth. I'll find the second step going upstairs or the second step on the porch, and I will purposely sit lower than them before I start talking to them. That way you make yourself become more a listener than a talker. I have a little stool that I ordered off of Amazon. It's a collapsible stool, and I keep it with me at all times, and I will sit on it if I have to sit lower than them. There's other ways. My buddy David Rowe at Booth Heating and Air, he's also a top contender. He's in the top 3 year after year. And props to him. He was a maintenance tech just a few years ago. Great guy. But when you're talking to him, he has this catchphrase that he doesn't even realize he's saying, but I picked it up and stole it from him. But everything you say, after you say it, he'll say, I got you. I got you. That is being more interested than interesting. He's doing it to me on purpose. We're walking through the Venetian in Las Vegas, and every time I finish a sentence, he's like, I got you. He's showing me he's listening to me. He's promoting me to want to say something else to him. So that's some examples of that. So be more interested than interesting from listening to you. Right. Sounds like it's about being a great listener. It's being about an active listener, letting the client know that you're listening to them, whether it's you finish with the comment that you were sharing, or reflecting back to the client what they shared with you so they know you heard. Whatever you need to do to let the client know that you heard them, that you're listening to them, that you're paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. The other thing I heard you say, which is something that I have shared many, many times, which is, it's funny that you do it. Let the client sit in the big chair and you sit in the small chair.
I love that you have a literal little chair that you bring with you. I just think that's the best thing ever.
Can we get a photo of that? Like, for the podcast, we're going to get a photo of that, and I'm going to have Andrew, our producer.
I have one. And the credit to this, the stool comes from Brian Stevens that works for us. He's Mr. Gadget. So every time he finds a new gadget, he sends it to us, and we all spend our money on it.
We're going to get that. We'll put that. We'll put that up. We'll put that up on the. I'll have Andrew put it up while we're. He'll put it up right now. I mean, he'll be able to edit that in. It's probably already up. It's already been up. So, thank you, Andrew. So let's talk more about like the actual call. You're on a call. You are having success building that relationship with the client, right? The client then typically wants to move forward with having somebody come out and talk to them about their replacement options, right? Mm-hmm. How do you get the client there? How do you get them to the point where they are like, yeah, I'd like to have one of your comfort advisors come out and talk to me?
You just talk to them like a human being. I spend 15 minutes diagnosing a system. I spend an hour diagnosing the customer and give 30 minutes worth of solutions. But it's just talking to them, because you can know the gist of somebody's life within an hour of sitting on their couch. And but every situation is different. Yeah. Not everybody needs a new system. You have to be willing to say to every customer that I've got the part on the truck and I can fix it. But then you have to also be honest with them, because like Art likes to say, if you were going to your sister's house that lived in the middle of Alabama, and there didn't used to be a good company there, but now we got one. But anyways, she doesn't know who to call, and she asked you to come look at it. She can't afford a breakdown. She's broke as a joke. You would go through that system with a fine tooth comb. You would make sure your sister's unit's not going to break down. Well, you have to do that with your customers too, because they're paying you. They think they're just paying you for a no heat, but watch how quickly you'll get blamed if there's a callback, So they want more than that no heat. So you're not being professional if you're not very thorough and you're not talking to them. You're not listening to the fact that if you pay attention long enough, she starts sneezing or wheezing. Mm-hmm. You got to be aware of your surroundings.
Is there something that you keep with you? Do you keep a notepad to take notes when you're listening to a client? What do you keep with you?
I recommend a lot of guys do that, but no, because like I told you an example a long time ago, about the drunken ballerina.
Let's talk about that. I've heard this before.
So when people ask me my advice and they're super technical, so they don't naturally have what I have from my experiences growing up, I tell them, man, you need to be a drunken ballerina when you get there. And everybody asks, the next question is, what the hell do you mean? So you have to pretend that you've had a couple shots and you're super relaxed. You're getting to that first date. You know what I mean? So you chill out. But when the drunken part is you don't care. You're not looking for something. You're just having a good time. You're there having a good time at their house. But the second part of that, the ballerina part, is ballerinas are very intentional. They're methodical. Everything they do has been practiced and rehearsed 5 bazillion times. Their body is just muscle memory at that point. So when you get there, you have to know everything you're going to accomplish while you're there, everything you're going to check. You're going to know that customer before you leave. You'll know their name and their children's name and their spouse name before you leave. That's where the ballerina part comes from.
I love it. So let's go back into the call. You got the client that is now wanting to move forward to have a comfort advisor come out and talk to them. Okay. How do you prep the comfort advisor before they get there? What are some of the techniques and gifts that you could share that you do?
Well, we have a policy here where if that call's been flipped, you have to contact each other before you go.
Okay.
And that way you can say, the husband thinks this and feels that. This duct needs to be looked at. Here's an issue. There's an issue. Here's what they mentioned. They mentioned they're tight on money. So they just want a solution, not the best solution. Anything that was told to you. If energy efficiency was a big deal, if they're an engineer, you want that, because your engineers typically want the best of the best. So, especially the electrical engineers, but you have to relate all that to the consultant. But what's more important than how you get the consultant ready is you do all the legwork. All your successful service technicians have already said everything to the customer twice that the consultant is going to say when he gets there. You have to prevent the consultant from having to upsell because it won't work. You have to listen to your customer so much that they upsell themselves with things they want, things that they need. You already know, does their kid have asthma? You already know the system needs to be bigger. One example I gave earlier was like a heat pump. A lot of people think you can just replace the outdoor unit, walk away, fine. You have a 20-year-old indoor unit, brand new outdoor unit. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to be as efficient as the box says it's going to be. It's not going to dehumidify the way it's designed to. So you go ahead and tell the customer, and by the way, the whole thing has to be replaced. You have a heat pump system, and this is why it has to be replaced. You could use a UV light, with all the asthma and allergies you guys have. You need the better filtration system. He's not going to try to push that on you, but I'm going to let him know that these things bother you and just see what the price is. If you want it, get it. If you can't afford it, don't. We can always do it later. It'll just be a little bit more expensive than their department will do it.
And are you doing that? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
Yeah. You always want to make sure that the customer knows the more they do it one time and biting that bullet, it's going to be cheaper than doing it later, but we can do it later if you can't afford it now. The consultant should never have to say that. That should never have to come out of their mouth. It's a sales killer because that's what they feel like. They're there to sell them.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying that, and you do that because you recognize that the client looks at you as the expert. Is that right? Right. Is that why you're doing that? Because there's something there's something very psychological there. Share that.
Well, even if they don't think that you're the expert when you get there, if you're good at your job and you've been interested in them enough, by the time you leave, they had better feel like you're the expert. So yeah, you're the one they trust, or they probably don't trust you when you get there if they're a new customer. There's a lot of heat and air companies that have set a super bad example and the bar very low for us before we get there. And that actually makes you want their expectations to be sky high by the time you leave. So they trust you. Now if you've done your job correctly, now they're more calmed down about the consultant coming. And if that consultant's really good and he can spend more time on his relationship with the customer and getting to know the customer versus telling them what all they can upgrade and all these wonderful things they can do, then now he is just like you. And he is just somebody that they appreciate. Mm-hmm. They appreciate a sales guy being in their house. As weird as that sounds.
That's great. Okay, so I'm still on the call. Now the comfort advisor or the consultant has gone into the home and is wrapped up and taking care of that client. Now, what's that like? What's that interaction like after the salesperson or the consultant sells the job or gets them happily involved and now they're calling you? What's that like? What's that teamwork like?
Yeah, it's usually them explaining what happened and thanking you 4 times and then and then moving on to the next one. Yeah, but they follow up and let you know, thanks for saying this, thanks for that.
And how does that make you feel?
Helped.
How does that make you feel when they do that?
Oh, great. We got this young guy. He's our youngest one, he's the newest. He's a freaking rock star. You'll see his name one day. He just needs more experience under his belt. But Colby Brown is, man, when he calls you after a sale that you've just helped him with his family, man, you're pumped up. You're psyched up. You can't wait to get to the next one and hope Colby gets it because he makes you feel like the only reason why it sold was because of you. When really you can watch the pattern and no, dude, you're pretty good at this. But he always makes you feel like it's you.
Sounds like he's very intentional with his words and building people up. And
yes, super nice guy.
And does that make you want to work more for him and the rest of the comfort advisors when they do that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I got some that are my favorite because they're so funny, and I want to do really good if they're going. They all have something special about them if you'll just learn it instead of going, hey man, they need a duck. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Click. No, you need to talk to them like they're your brother. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Build a relationship.